Why does one amplifier sound better than other? Why are there so dramatic price difference between the models of similar specifications? Which amplifier should I buy to make a current system really sound better? In this video, we will look to the leading manufacturer's signature models. Those units that are winning magazine awards and there are no compromises in design. But first, we should agree on a definition of high-quality audio amplifier. For that I took a quote from my personally highly respected manufacturer, Bryston. Reproducing exactly what is captured in recording without exception and without added distortion is our benchmark. How to achieve it? Bryston engineer led by Chris Russell answer it. Dramatically less distortions at input stage, improved common mode noise ejection and low total harmonic distortion across all operation power. Let's look at the brand models of large manufacturers, those that are given to tests and apply for awards. Rotel, a strong Japanese manufacturer with long history of good products and a team of engineers. As you can see, Mishi P5 S5 models has won ACE awards as a best product. Let's look at the S5 model. So what does Rotel say about himself? 500 watt output power at 8 ohms and 800 watt at 4 ohms. Dual monoblock design. It has active cooling with fan. Wise decision to make a controlled heat dispatch. Very high quality metalwork, really, at the jewelry level, even in small details. 1.2 kilowatt consumption. Weight, 60 kilogram. Monster. If there was no active cooling, then there would be probably another 15 kilograms extra. A quick overview of marketing materials. 2 times 500 watt 8 ohms, 2 times 800 watt 4 ohms, 2 transformers, each about kilowatt. Very impressive specialized capacitors. Extreme quality housing and connectors. Well, state of the art. Amazing. The black panel is milled and I don't even know what technology has been used to get such a static surface. My guess, however, it is a powder coated and not an anodized treatment. Built with a taste. Truly aesthetic. Either Japanese. Just look at specifications by yourself. If necessary, stop the video. There the manufacturer has just being honest. Some parameters where the numbers seem lower are in my opinion just fairly displayed reality. Very good amplifier. Well, except the consumption. BTU means that it consumes 1 kilowatt-hour energy, about the same as iron. Bryston, a respected developer from Canada. Let's look at his top of the top models. Here we are not talking about the price. All the samples further examined are in a range of 5,000 to 15,000 USD. But selling at such price, manufacturer design units without compromises. Wow is guaranteed. Our task is to understand where wow lies. What Bryston marketing say? Uncompromising design, I agree. Passive cooling, no affect sound. But the size of the heatsinks and weight increases significantly. Very beautiful. In my opinion, Japanese design look better. I would say it's a quite aesthetic, but not a more. Extremely accurate and detailed sound reproduction. There is a lot of talk about the role of the preamplifier to provide details of the sound. Worth to hear. Especially for those novice engineers who buy a good power unit and put in input circuit a 100 kilo-ohm potentiometer to adjust the volume. Don't do that. It will dramatically influence sound reproduction tolerance. Preamplifier should drive power stage without intermediate elements. Preamplifier works as a very good buffer amplifier with high input impedance and low output impedance. Read this. Key takeaway. 100 watt amplifier never sounds so impressive as equal quality 500 watt amplifier. The secret of Bryston amplifier quality are in preamplifier quality and power headroom. For example, when I studied this company's 300 watt amplifier, I found out that in reality those are 700 watt amplifiers set to work max to 300 watt by eliminating input signal. When in the market this amplifier competes with the mainstream 300 watt amps, it ultimately wins in all aspects. A smart move, where the brand's reputation builds up over the years and people are willing to pay for equality. Here is what it looks like in a real amplifier case. The iSpower's 125A62 bridged circuit has 300 watt excellent sound range and 150 watt power headroom, which we only listen running home party. The scale of graphs is logarithmic. This is how this amplifier looks in a photo. In my personal opinion, Rotel S5 had better finish. Otherwise, designing like from the textbook. And everything is aesthetically simple. No yellow colored parts, blinking terminals, or screaming colors. Just a curiosity, I looked at the Bryston preamplifier, who meant to drive those top-line monoblocks. What caught my eye is tendency of home users to start using professional connectors. As an example, there are a couple of professional balanced inputs and outputs. It has its reason, because professional XLR connectors are far better than RCA. This is how marketing describes and positions it. Read it by yourself. I didn't find anything new there. Pay attention to the Bryston amplifier lineup. Virtually everything starts from 200 watts and up. I agree with Bryston's position that low power amplifier can sound good. Later, we will take a closer look to amplifier and the speaker interaction physics, analyzing pulse response of the speakers. McIntosh, the legend in high-end industry. Not to be confused with design, there is no other company in the world with such a mechanical construction. Top lineup power, kilowatt and more. The 300 watt lamp amplifier is equivalent to kilowatt solid state amplifier. Let's look at other models. And McIntosh doesn't make anything below 300 watt. It is a strategy of high price and big wow. The power reserve works in a similar way as the car's engine horsepower. Expensive cars has more horsepower and typically has more dynamics on the road. Most McIntosh power amplifier lineup has power 300 watts and above. Denon is not a really grand brand, but it is a well-known name. Standard design with 2 independent channels and shielded input circuits. Again, design like from the textbook. Specifications are good. Denon's strategy is to be the best among 100 watt players and position himself with 160 watt output power. But it is more marketing. Because remember that we hear logarithmically, and 400 watt is only 2 times louder than 100 watts. The feeling of 100 and 160 will be that Denon is kind of better. In fact, we have paid a lot for a relatively small benefit. And we will miss such thing as a huge wow. What a difference. Cambridge Audio. Azure 851W. Already in a price range more understandable for us. Everything should be simpler here, but there is no reason for excessive savings. Classic design. Preamplifier power supply circuits are separated from the power part by using a second small transformer. Cleverly done. 350 watt for 4 ohms. I assume that the benefits will be more tangible than in case of Denon. A little bit about the tube amplifiers. There is a solid market where a number of buyers stand and fall for lamp amplifiers. However, let's be pragmatic. Lamp amplifiers have a number of advantages and also a number of disadvantages. First, they are very durable, and if properly designed, practically unbreakable. Maybe this be a reason why musicians love them so much? A tube amplifier can work much better at the clipping level by creating so-called soft clipping. This is because the anode voltage is very high and the clipping is not related to reaching the supply voltage level. In practice, it looks like this. The orange line shows the tube amplifier clipping, and the red solid-state amplifier. But if you want a great uncolored sound, a blue chart is what we need. The downside of the tube amplifiers is lack of power. The tube amplifiers is not performed with the low sensitivity speakers, and today's trend is accurate sound, which in most cases means low sensitivity speakers. The presence of second harmonic in the lamp amplifier warming the sound. We no longer accurately play the studio recording, adding a certain coloration. Evolution of amplifiers. Previously, we looked at the best models from elite manufacturers, where you have seen A/B class designs still dominate. Due to their low efficiency, we have to deal with a serious heat release. Following designs are large, impressive size heatsinks, heavy transformers. Well, such a beautiful dinosaurs. Of the big brands, Marantz is one of the first implementing in signature designs next generation power amplifier technology. Marantz flagship is PM10 amplifier at impressive price of $8,000. So, what does marketing say about PM10 model? This time we will analyze it in more details. This amplifier has a number of important innovations in design. We will find elements of the next generation audio amplifier what is worth knowing. The preamplifier circuits are powered by a separate shielded transformer. Class D power stage. The first brand signature model will see a Class D amplifier architecture. The power stage operates from switching mode power supply. You may wonder why such power supplies are not used in Class AB amplifiers. It is all about efficiency. It is hard to cool switching mode power supply in a powerful Class AB design. Additional heatsinks are required. The conventional mains transformers does not heat up, simplifying design. What else do we have here? 400 watts at 4 ohms. Completely balanced, or in simple words, two precise amplifiers in a bridged connection. The amplifiers are so precisely matched that on the load, which in our case is a speaker system, the odd harmonics will be eliminated. Thus, the sound is very neutral. Marantz emphasizes a quality of the preamplifier. As in case of Bryston, we are talking about the role and importance of the preamplifier. If it's done by two large manufacturers, then it's worth remembering. Monoblock architecture. 4-layer printed circuit boards. This is important when designing high-power switching mode solutions. In our case, we are talking about the power supply amplifier modules. For those who want a really good amplifier, pay attention to all of the above mentioned. Everything is equally important, and any compromise leads to mediocrity. Money will be spent with lack of expected result. Do you see anything familiar? Yes, Marantz uses the latest Hypex development and connecting it in a bridge. Next you can see company Purify current design. Purify is a new company where a number of very good engineers have teamed up in a company. They have very interesting business model developing and licensing technologies instead of building end products. One of Purify founders is a famous Hypex LED designer Bruno Pudzes. Pay attention to the construction. Hypex models are connected in a bridge connection and attached to the large heatsinks. When elaborating your designs, think about the heat dissipation and don't rely just on high efficiency parameters in the datasheets. Typically 500 watt Class D amplifier design disperse around 10 watts in a quiet mode and may go up to 60 watts at the maximum music performance. Somewhere this heat must be dispatched. A small heatsink is required. Rear panel. Again, pay attention to the tendency to put professional XLR signal connectors and implement balanced inputs. NAD. Famous Danish manufacturer. NAD is changing its strategy and moving completely to Class D technology. Here is an example of price level around 2,500 euros. It is very simple amplifier having just preamplifier and power stage. Do you see balanced XLR connectors? For me it seems like a pattern. And how he priced himself? Well, of course, an excellent preamplifier, specs are outstanding. And powerful output stage with 340 watts output power in stereo mode with excellent specifications. Similar design with added digital to analog converter and streaming playback. Ace Award. This one is expensive, but worth to analyze as a trend. What can we conclude from all above mentioned? Class AB designs appears to be decline. Class D technology has been found in the brand signature designs, which means that everything is fine with the sound quality. Semiconductor manufacturers creating increasingly powerful high-speed MOSFETs, enabling Class D audio amplifiers to be close to perfection, which means potential stagnation of the industry. Any industry struggles when technology moving close to perfection and becoming good enough. Let's look at the specification of the latest commercial Class D amplifiers. Fantastic! Remember, we talked about balanced architecture of the power amplifier, like quadro-balanced amplifiers, fully balanced, etc. There is a copy of Texas Instruments document where benefits has been explained. Example of measurements of the best Class D modules. They going beyond the parameters of AB class leading models. This information is taken from public records of the proven design companies with high reliability. Let's talk a little bit about audio amplifier marketing. Couple of things we should know. The total harmonic distortion human hearing threshold is 0.25%. To be safe, scientists have assumed that the hearing limit for human for total harmonic distortions is 0.1%. So, if your design is 10 times better than the hearing limit, the industry has decided the amplifier is very good. And then marketing begins around it all. For some reason, all users have memorized the total harmonic distortion parameter. The small value of war has begun. What is the difference between 0.01% and 0.009%? It is just a 1,000th of percent. But on paper, this one extra zero looks impressive. Virtually all amplifiers below are equal except the last one, where the jump is into the next generation. It is much more important to understand how this parameter is obtained, because a low distortion number can be obtained in the deep negative feedback, which makes all whole system slow. The specs looks great, but in reality the amplifier is bad. Key learning: if the distortion factor is below 0.1%, other parameters are more important and should be considered. The amplifier must be seen in context of entire sound reproduction system. In this case, we assume that signal provided of the amplifier input is ideal, which in real life is not the case. But to simplify the explanation, we look only at the model amplifier speaker. Let's remember the principles of speaker design. Those are well described. Speaker technology is celebrating its 100 years, but it is still far from perfect. Unfortunately, it should be noted that alternative solutions are neither visible nor audible today. So we have a magnet and a coil that makes up motor. When current is applied to the coil, it moves under the influence of magnetic field. The real physical processes there are complicated, because as the coil moves, additional current are inducted in it, which are in no way related to our source signal. All this must be dealt with in a speaker design. A membrane is attached to the coil, which is held in the center by a spider mount. This determines 70% of the stiffness of the speaker movement. The edges of the membrane are joined by a rubber or corrugated material to the supportive caches, which defines the remaining 30% of stiffness. Remember that sound pressure is related to the acceleration of the speaker at given moment. In music we have a low frequencies with a large amplitude where the speaker makes a large stroke. On top of that, there are a medium and high frequencies with a small amplitude. This electromechanical process must repeat the electrically applied signal as accurate as possible. And the last thing to know, the speaker efficiency is about 1%. Thus, a significant part of the design is related to the heat dissipation. An important slide that needs to be understood in details. These processes also answer the question why amplifiers of the similar specification give a difference in a sound reproduction tolerance. The process similar to driving car. Cars with a larger engine are easier to drive, even with respect to speed limits. The car dynamics are determined by the power headroom during the overtaking maneuvers, where we have to accelerate for a while and then attain to the allowed speed limit at the end of the maneuver. In addition, each car has a maximum power zone somewhere at 3000 RPMs. It is the same with amplifiers. Its best sound reproduction is at 1/3 of the power, when it controls the speaker with the highest tolerance. Now let's look to the response of the audio system to pulse signal. These charts don't appear in the marketing specification, but they are very important to understand sound reproduction physical process. At the input of the amplifier, we supply a pulse within time frame 2 conditional units. Ideally, the pulse front of the amplifier output has a very short rise time. In reality, it has a slope. The slope and amplifier output resistance, what we know as a damping factor, influence detail of the speaker sound. For more powerful amplifier, the speed is higher. In the bridged connection, it is twice as high in terms of voltage and 4 times higher in power comparing to similar single-ended solutions. Here we come to the previously heard marketing terms quadro-balanced, fully balanced and so on. These solutions are much more expensive because they require 2 identical amplifiers and twice as many electronic components. The benefit: the amplifier sounds audibly better at low volume. There is all the secret why amplifiers within similar specifications has different sound reproduction capability. And one more thing, our hearing is logarithmic. 40 watt power sounds twice as loud as 10 watts and 400 watts power twice as loud as 100 watts. Summarizing, the more powerful amplifier is faster and it is essential for accurate sound reproductions, especially when listening at low volume. Can we make something close to the many thousand words solutions discussed above? If we listen and follow what the big manufacturers told us, then we can, especially today, when we are in transition moment from AB class amplifiers to D class solutions. In addition, some OEM boards of the good Class D manufacturers are available in open market. So, what we have learned from the big ones? We need an excellent quality preamplifier, a proven manufacturer's amplifier board and good switching mode power supply. The quality of the power supply is equally important to the quality of the power amplifier board. For the flexibility of the system, we're choosing the monoblock design to 100% separate channels and provide option to place them close to the speaker input, therefore shortening speaker connection cables. For the preamp, we choose a Texas Instruments latest design balancer chipset ENA 1650 and power amplifier board ICA 125A62 from proven manufacturer iSpower. At some point, this is uniquely good amplifier board when considering price-performance ratio and sound quality. Let's remember that we are competing with the world-class solutions in price categories around 5,000 euros and above. Sure, we can't win all categories. In my case, I choose to compete only in a sound quality. Choosing monoblock bridged architecture and aluminum enclosure and going to create commercial product for direct sales around the globe, using digital marketing as a primary sales engine. The ENA 1650 is a high-quality chipset and provides exactly what we need. Chipset integrates two channels, which allows to form a very precise differential signal for the bridged connection. The chip integrates a large number of electronics, including buffer amplifier, which allows you to create amplifiers with a 500 kΩ input resistance. Or in simple words, makes the amplifier very easy to drive. All the parameters provided by the solution are at the level of the world-leading products. Preamplifier has been developed by our team and produced in the neighbor electronic manufacturing services provider Valborg. They are specializing in small and medium volume production, what fits in our business model. Small dimensions, good components. We paint everything with a durable powder paint and add silkscreen prints. The specs is kind of outstanding and matching high-end design requirements. We use a worldwide certified OEM amplifier board and can trade it all over the world. We market it as a do-it-yourself kit, taking into account the specifics of the eBay buyer and the psychological limit of buying things up to 150 USD. For those who want full set of components, we also sell iSpower 125A6 boards. We sell only original factory boards. This is stereo version of previous design, what we made as a special order. For the full story for this, watch the video Amplifier Weekend Project. Stereo version with active cooling to sustain tropical conditions and extreme home party running at clipping level. Customer story who bought this amplifier and the shocking moment that it sounds far better than the well-known British design with a price of 2,500 euros. What to say? Technology is moving forward. In conclusion, what is an excellent audio amplifier? It is powerful, good amplifier unit with integrated power supply and the best possible preamplifier. Power is needed and there is no shortcut. Class D amplifiers enabling high-power audio amplifier adoption for home users who are looking for excellent sound system with reasonable spendings. It will be relatively short time before their total dominance in solutions above 100 watts. Looking for more stories like this? Check my video blog in English at www.tcras.com or subscribe my YouTube channel. Want to build something outstanding by yourself? Check an amplifier kit on eBay. Want to ask the question? Write a comment. Want more stories like this? Just put like for video and it will be a sign that story has a value for audience, giving extra motivation to make more of them.